I think that the harp is one of the most wonderful instruments. It's not the easiest instrument to play, but it's one of the most forgiving. When you really begin to learn the harp, you become one with the harp. I think it's so important that people learn to play and make their own music. Our motto is, music can help save the world, and that's what we would like to do.
I wouldn't say I enjoy the first step out of bed in the morning, but I enjoy going to work. I'm Gary Stone. I've been making harps here for around 25 years. Well, back when I was in college, I hung out at this little dulcimer shop, and they made mountain dulcimers, which we still continue to make. And they were popular in the 60s, back when people walked around in bare feet. So when the gentleman that was making the dulcimers decided to retire, I bought all the patterns and the dulcimer business from him. Along with the other stuff, there was a harp pattern in there. And he hadn't even really mentioned the harps. But there was a design. There was a lot of things that weren't very good about them. But there was a real core of a really good idea. So I engineered it so it was better woodworking, better finishing, and better design. And people started buying them, and eventually I quit my day job and started making harps. So it's all continued from that small beginning. There's a lot of things I like about the harp making. I'll pick the best side here, a little bit of a flaw here. Making beautiful instruments is part of it, but there's a clear function that you have to make. The harps have to sound good. So we'll set this one at G. So there's a clear need to develop both the aesthetic part of making harps and then the engineering part of making harps so that they function well. And I mark them out, lay them out on the wood, try to find a way to get all the different parts out of the different boards. We've made around almost 7,000 harps in 25 years. We have 12 different models of harps that we sell in 3 different woods. This is our wood pile here. This is some cherry wood here. So it's a whole combination of things, all the way from the woodworking part, the design work. This one here is a little bit low. And the engineering, and then the opportunity to provide a tool for artistic expression on other people. This is our 3rd floor of our barn here. We started this project in 2001, bought the building, and it was just an ordinary agricultural barn full of old hay and junk. It took us about a year to get it ready for use. When we purchased it, the owner was very keen on having some use, some adaptive reuse. We're losing barns in Minnesota and all over the whole Midwest. Every year there's hundreds of barns falling down. And when we found a way to use this, to rehab this into a different adaptive use, we're able to continue to save the building. And it should be good for another 100 years.
There are 4 poetry barns in Red Wing, and they were commissioned by the College of Design out of Minneapolis, I believe, and the Walker Center. And it was a grant, and they found a poet. It's the 4 seasons, and our barn is the summer season. Green lit limbs fan glances, shirtless contours in the downpour, ancestors folded into valleys, honey in the burning hive.
My name is Brittany Gretz. I'm Gary and Eve's youngest daughter. You're using your fingertips. It's an actual pulling motion, so you're pulling your fingers in towards your palm and pushing out with your thumbs. But it's, if you have any piano, you have to turn your brain sideways because you're going towards you and away from you instead of side to side. Various people have had experiences where they've found that the actual vibrations of it going through their bodies is really, they find it very therapeutic. You feel it through your body, through your hands, as well as hearing it, I think maybe more than some other instruments. If you're an absolute beginner, you can just play around with it and it still sounds really nice. Each of the harps will have a slightly different sound. With a cherry, you typically get a warm, sort of mellow sound. With walnut, you tend to get kind of a rich, dark sound with a little bit more of the bass. Maple is a very, very dense wood, and you get a very, very bright sound.
Will there really be harps in heaven? Will it get me in through the back door? Will Gabriel say, since you already played, come on in, that'll even your score? Will there really be harps in heaven? Will my harp wear a golden crown? And will they hire someone from down below to carry the thing around?
This is the first time that this harp is sung. I enjoy just the idea of that this is if that were music, it would be the first time. No, it's not complicated. You set the harp up in whatever key you're going to play. If you look at the inside of a piano, you'll see this. This is the shape that you'll see on the inside of a piano. So we just call them naked pianos. We have a sense of historical connection. I've seen some Greek vase with clearly a harp player playing on it. There's an Egyptian harp that came out of a pyramid or a tomb. There are a lot of illuminated manuscripts that show pictures of what the harps used to look like. Harps have been around for a long time. Well, I like harps because I like making them. I like being able to provide an opportunity for someone else to make music. I don't play the harp, and I have very little musical background or talent. I've always loved music, but I've never played. You wouldn't want to hear me sing. But I like the music, I like the engineering, I like the opportunity to work with people who do make music and provide the tools for their expression.
Oh, it's a great feeling. You're giving somebody the chance to get that same kind of emotional feeling and release. A lot of people will come home after a very difficult day. They'll have their harp. They'll just simply lean it up against themselves and close their eyes and just noodle around on the harp. It's very soothing.